Good afternoon, everybody. Dave here with The Rush on this Friday, October 17th, 2025. Now, normally I compile a list of the day's news and read it back to you for your rush hour ride home, but today's episode going to look a little different as I actually interview one of my audience members about a sighting they had years ago regarding Bigfoot. Now, I know, some people think Bigfoot is some crazy conspiracy. How could there possibly be another living creature out there in the abyss? But I, for one, am an enthusiast when I hear stories of Bigfoot. Call it Sasquatch. Really exist. These mythological creatures exist in basically every continent there's been sightings, and the hot spot is the Pacific Northwest, which is the sighting of which we're about to discuss. Now, I don't know. I just find it interesting. I've made it a priority to discuss Bigfoot as sort of fun on the show over the last several months, and in doing so, I've had people come to me, several with stories, and the one you're going to hear today, I told our audience member, Kim, who wrote to me, she was like, look, my husband said he saw Bigfoot years ago. His story hasn't changed. He's the most trustworthy guy I know, but I want you to hear it for yourself. And so when I confront him about seeing Bigfoot, he was a little hesitant to call it Bigfoot, but says what he saw was unlike anything he's seen before. And it's a very interesting story. I actually found it very sweet as you're about to listen. I found the story very sweet as it's a husband and wife been together since this time when the story happened. High school loves, and I just love highlighting them as an audience that we've already had here on the show. So I wanted to thank Kim and her husband so much for this phone call you're about to listen to, and I hope you guys enjoy this as well. The truth is out there, folks. Let me know in the comment section. You think the guy saw Bigfoot? Here's our conversation. Hi, Troy. How are you?
I'm good.
So yeah, I've been, I actually listened to Sasquatch stories from like people that saw Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I've been listening for like the last year. I'm just loving the tales that people have.
Right.
Are they all from Washington?
There are so many from Washington, British Columbia, West Coast, Oregon. Yeah, it's such a hot spot, it seems.
Yes, it seems to be.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, so like when was your experience? Can you just tell me your story?
Yeah. I'm not a very good storyteller. I'll start off with that. My wife says I don't tell stories well, but I will tell you what I experienced. It was back in the 80s. I was a teenager, and we were deer hunting. We used to go every year. My dad and brothers and stuff. We'd go deer hunting. And we were up in an area of Washington called Skate Creek. And it's kind of I don't know if it's really a rainforest, but it's in the real thick, old growth trees, lots of moss, lots of ferns, lots of, open areas, but a lot of areas that there's a lot of fall down trees and stuff like that too. So it's...
How far were you from like any roads or any civilization?
I was probably only about a half a mile off a dirt road. You drive in, and I'm guessing we drove in, I don't know, it's a few miles, 10, 12, 15 miles, I don't know. It's back off old logging roads is what they are. And, it's public access. People can go back in there.
And so are you looking for deer, or you're just like looking for big game?
Yeah, we are actually deer hunting. We're hunting for deer. And
so what did you spot Sasquatch from far away, or like how was that moment?
Well, what I will also say, I saw something. Everybody says, well, what did you see? I said, I saw something, and the only thing I could figure out is it was a monkey-like object.
Wow.
So, I mean, the thing that I'm not one to, I don't like attention. I don't like notoriety. I don't like that type of stuff, so, and the weird thing about this is he was actually picking his nose. I mean, everybody laughs at me, yeah, you're making this up. It's like, no, seriously.
I just watched a Jane Goodall documentary of chimpanzees, and 90% of the time they're self-grooming. They're picking at their fur and hair, so that doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Right. What we would do is my dad would drop us off in different areas along this road, and we would say hike back in there and find a spot, sit down, and I'm gonna walk over it this way, and we don't spread out. We'd sit back in the woods for hours, type of thing. And so, it's dark when we start walking in the woods, first thing in the morning, and you find a spot, and I sat down and I'm sitting there and I'm looking up this kind of a hillside, that kind of sloped up, and lots of little critters and stuff around, little chipmunks and, birds chirping and stuff like that. And the sun's coming up. It's not sunny out. It's overcast up here in Washington all the time. So it's kind of overcast and whatnot. And I sit down. I find a spot that I can see up through the woods. So I sit down and I start hearing probably, I don't know, half an hour to an hour after I sit down, I start hearing kind of a crackling, like something's snapping twigs or something. Mm-hmm. So I start, looking around thinking, here, maybe there's a deer coming my way walking through the woods. So I start watching. And so I look up this hillside, and there's a big tree. It's probably, there's a number of big trees that have fallen down from storms. And they were probably 3 feet in diameter. And I see some movement on one. So I raise my gun up to take a look and look through the scope, and I see something moving. I can't make it out, so I, pull it down. I was raised that you do not really point a gun at something that you're not going to shoot, and you don't shoot something you're not going to eat.
Right.
So I was kind of cautious of that, so I watched it, kept moving. So I kept hearing the snapping of twigs. So I kept watching, and I thought, I'm going to take a look again. And it was getting brighter out. And I look through my gun, and I see just from kind of shoulders up, something sitting behind this log looking over at me. And, you get that funny feeling something's watching you.
Sure.
It's like, this is odd. And I'm a teenager at the time. And it's, I'm looking, and so I raise the gun up again, and I look, and I see a face, shoulders, and a face, a leathery, dark face. It's like, what in the world? And there's also, during hunting season, for some reason here in Washington, there's a lot of people that go out and pick mushrooms in the woods to eat. And when you're hunting, you're supposed to be wearing the hunter orange, so it's, so you don't accidentally get shot. But the mushroom hunters don't wear orange. They kind of just wander through the woods. So it's like, maybe it's a mushroom hunter up there picking stuff off the log. And so I watch. It's like, it's not. And then I make out that he's got, it looks like a finger in his nose, picking his nose, and another one, and it's snapping twigs with its other hand, with its thumb. It's got a branch coming through his hand and breaking little pieces off of it. Just snap, 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 snap. So once I realized that, I got the hell out of there. I thought, no way. And I got down, and I wish my dad was here to help with the story. And I found my dad, and I was speechless. I said, Dad, there's a monkey up here in the woods. And he goes, what the hell are you talking about? I said, no, Dad, there's a monkey. Come on, let's go take a look. And it's like, so he goes back, we go back to the spot and get back in the woods again and look up there, and it's something up there, and all of a sudden, then it's gone. Just totally disappeared. I didn't see anything walk away, run away, anything like that, but I saw head and shoulders, a finger in the nose of a monkey type. I saw something.
Was there furry shoulders? Like, what was his shoulder and head? What was that complexion like?
It looked like an ape. It looked like a chimpanzee or a monkey type of thing.
And the face was like dark, like a blackish face, or
yeah, black or brownish, dark. It was. I'm guessing I was 30, 40, 50 yards away from this thing.
Fall is here, and with it comes the back-to-school rush. Early morning drop-offs, after-school activities, football games, and those last-minute supply runs. Let's not forget the extra trips for groceries, coffee, and gas as the days get busier. All of that adds up, and it adds up fast. Well, we got you covered with the free Upside app. It's an easy way to earn real cash back every time you fill up your tank. Grab a bite to eat or stock up on essentials. Whether you're driving across town for a soccer game or picking up snacks for the school lunchbox, Upside helps you keep more money in your pocket. In fact, Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. Yeah, billion with a B. That's real cash back. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Actual money you can transfer straight to your bank account, with $1 million cash back is earned by its users every single week. So that's right. They're not only giving $1 billion cash back, but you can find out how much you could earn by downloading the free Upside app and use promo code RUSHHOUR to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code RUSHHOUR. Today's episode is sponsored by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. That's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. So ditch those overpriced wireless plans. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/TRH. That's mintmobile.com/TRH. Upfront payment of $45 for acquired, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
And yeah.
Now, what was back in the 80s, what was the general conversation about Bigfoot? Because I know a lot of conspiracy theorists were like shamed, back then, but I think the conversation's a little bit more open now. But what was that like?
Yeah, it was. There was talk of Bigfoot. People talked about Bigfoot and whatnot. It was. I don't recall it being shows on TV and stuff about it. Like they have now, the Bigfoot hunters and all that. But it was. There was definitely people that believed in Bigfoot.
Well, your wife says you're a trustworthy guy, but obviously, like my wife doesn't believe anything I tell her, and it's like they want to see. You got to see it for yourself. What was it? Right. Have you tried to convince people, or is it just one of those stories? You know what you saw.
I just know what I saw.
Yeah.
I have not gone to any officials or anybody or the Bigfoot Society or anything and said, "Oh, I saw this." No, I'm not that type of guy. I saw something. I know I don't.
His dad says that he saw him too, but he said that he just stopped telling the story because nobody ever believed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Troy doesn't remember his dad seeing. His dad's 85, and he could very well.
Yeah.
But he says he saw him.
I mean, you're in the hot spot, and when I feel like anybody who actually gets out into that like lush woods and the tree cover, they realize like, hey, who knows what's out there? Exactly.
Yeah. You're in their world, whatever they are. You're in their world out there.
So when you came back with your dad, did you try to go to the spot to see like what the size would be, or could you estimate the size? I know it's kind of got to be tough if the Bigfoot was sitting.
Right. Well, it was definitely bigger than the shoulders and head, or definitely a lot larger than human. If somebody had a big hat on, I suppose, but it was, I would say that the head was at least twice as wide. And, the head kind of just went into shoulders. It wasn't a neck type of thing. It was just head to shoulders slouched down, staring over staring over a log at me.
Do you think it might have been hunting itself? Like what could you have any hypothesis as to why it was sitting there?
I don't know if it was bedded down behind this tree, laying down, and then I walk up in the woods and sit down and whatnot, and all of a sudden, it sits up. If it's something's laying behind a log and then sits up to look over. And
so you think it made eye contact with you?
I think so. Yes.
Wild.
Yes. And I also, the other thing too, when you're back in the woods, is the chipmunks are the alarm system for animals. To let you know something's coming, or that they'll alarm other animals that you're coming. They just go nuts.
Right.
And the chipmunks started to really get crazy, running around and chirping, and they go up the tree and bark at things, chirp at things, and it kind of got active there for a few minutes.
Any unusual smells? I know that's a big thing from Bigfoot. Is sometimes they can smell terrible from reports.
No, that's I've heard that, and there was no unusual smells at all. Just the typical back in the woods, smells.
Wow. And that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing since the 80s.
No, nothing since. I haven't actively gone out looking or anything like that. No.
I mean, they've mapped, like sightings like yours, and there's literal highway, like sort of like Bigfoot highways where they've seen like migration from, the different reports. Even where I live in Tennessee, there was reported sightings. But I think the case has probably been that with the development of a lot of forest, if they do exist, they've probably moved. But yeah, the Pacific Northwest is that seems to be the mecca.
Right.
Well, and specifically where he saw it, like the Randall Packwood area of Washington State, there's a lot of sightings there. If you go on the Bigfoot sighting whatever website, there's a lot of them there.
Yeah. So Kim, what percentage is your belief in his story?
Well, we've been together since I was 15 and he was 16. I don't know. And we're 59 and 60 now. So, I mean, I believe he saw something.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were late teens, early 20s. Am I doing the math right when this would have happened?
I was at teens.
Teens? Yeah.
Yeah. I was probably, 15 to 17 maybe.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love hearing it. Well, I thank you for sharing your story with me. And I know once I started talking about it, I kind of started talking about it for fun, but also saying I absolutely believe there's more out there that's undiscovered. I don't have any scientific hard evidence, but that doesn't stop people from believing. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share it with me.
Sure. Yeah.
Did anybody else?
And it's, I think, from British Columbia. So, and I've been into the woods in British Columbia and also outside of Seattle when I was there for some shows. And I've had people take me into some areas where you go, I mean, who knows if there's a couple colonies worth of Bigfoot, especially if they're kind of not wanting to be bothered. And, there's also the theory. Now, you could talk about the fact that, well, if this is a new species, there'd be thousands of years worth of evidence somewhere. But, if it's a couple hundred or a couple thousand and maybe they bury their dead or, who knows? But I believe you. I believe that's what so no chance it was a black bear or something like that?
No, it wasn't a black bear.
It was in the ape family.
Unless he was very disfigured.
Yeah.
It could have been disfigured, but no, its face was broad. Its face was very leathery, kind of leathery, shiny-ish. And having seen, what footage exists out there, would that look like something that you think you saw? Like whether it's that old school Patterson-Gimlin film or any of the, rough footage that's out there? It was more monkey-looking than the Bigfoot-ish looking, type of thing. It kind of was more monkey looking, I guess. I thought more chimpanzee looking. That's why I told my dad there's a monkey, and what are you talking about? So
wild stuff.
Yeah.
But large,
but big. Yeah. From what I could see, I didn't see body. I saw shoulders to top of head.
It was,
and the hand.
I think a lot of Bigfoots, they say that like there isn't much of a neck. It's like shoulder to head. What was there a neck?
Right. No neck.
And did the fingers, did they kind of match the face with like leathery, could you tell?
Yeah, I could, the finger was more up in his nose type of thing. So it was more of a.
No, when Kim told me the picking in the nose thing, I immediately was like, yeah, that sounds like it would line up. I mean, if you're a large primate and you're sitting there and, and snapping twigs, that's not something a bear would do.
No. That's what, and, everybody said, why don't you shoot it? And it's like I say, I was always raised, you don't shoot something you're not going to eat. And who knows how many crazies are up in the woods. It could have been a person in a monkey suit.
Right.
There's people that'll do stuff like that in Washington.
Yeah, those hippies collecting their mushrooms. You need to watch out for them.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Although not to be a racist, it seems like they were all Asian society that would collect the mushrooms up there.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, no, but it's you. God forbid, like someone's doing a prank, or in today's world, like shooting some Bigfoot sketch. But no, it sounds like you had the right idea. Well,
I looked through a scope. It was magnified, so I was looking through a rifle scope at this thing.
So in your scope, how much of your vision, like how big is it through the scope? Like, is it like, are you pretty tight? Because I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with like rifle scopes.
Yeah, it's like binocular. Like a binocular.
So you were close. So if you were 40 or 50 yards away, you're getting a good look at it.
Yes.
Now, if it were a deer, would that be an easy kill?
Yes.
Yeah. So you were pretty close. Well,
yes.
Look, I mean, if you have any new sightings, you know who to call. But tell okay. Kim, thanks so much for giving me your husband's time here, because it's just fascinating.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, we enjoy watching you.
Yeah, so. He's been subjected to a lot of Laura Owens coverage with you.
Well, sorry about that. Didn't really intend for that to take up. So
sorry.
I'd rather be talking Bigfoot than Laura Owens. I'll tell you that.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully she gets the help she needs.
Yeah.
Always great.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. And I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. There it is. That's your first Bigfoot sighting. Any Bigfoot sightings, hit me up. Let's hear your story. I would love to have more conversations like this. How about, should we do a regular Bigfoot Fridays every Friday afternoon? I want to send a shout out to our pal Susan Rich. She got me my Bigfoot shirt that I was wearing there. And I actually got it one for my son August too, a little baby Sasquatch shirt. So thanks so much for indulging my curiosity to the unknown. If there's any other Bigfoot enthusiasts out there, where to reach me, let me know. Come on the show. I want to hear from you. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do and then some. We'll see you on Monday, unless there's any other breaking news, in which case I'll be here to cover it. Until then, I'm Dave, and this was The Rush.